So baby ne vole, kanga baby ne vole, belote from Magangelo.
Hello, everyone. Good evening again. This is Njiben Zama. Welcome to another episode of Against the Odds, a show where we believe that sharing information can be inspiring and can also transform lives. So today we are in Michigan, here in Commerce Township,
Yes.
all the way from Houston. Like I said in my previous episode, we're trying to venture out of the studio, to get to the source of the information. So this is our second stop here in Michigan, and we hope that today's episode will be, helpful, maybe insightful, maybe inspirational to somebody. And I'd like to welcome my guest. I'm not going to say her name, but I'm going to let her introduce herself. But first of all, thank you very much for letting us into your home, beautiful home. Like that seems like I picked this is just matches. I'm going to take this along because this just goes along with my outfit. Anyway, thank you, madam.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to Against the Odds. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank you so much, Uncle Ben, for coming and for giving me the honor. It's actually an honor to be part of this. So my name is Peace Vumomse. Um, we live here in Carmiston, Michigan, and Uncle Ben has been a big brother, and I am so grateful and honored to be here.
Thank you very much. So nothing formal. Just want you to share your story because everybody has one. So would like you to share your story. I always like to start by your childhood, growing up, because I think that's probably the most interesting part of everybody's life. So how was your childhood like? Could you tell us a little bit?
Well, my childhood life was very um, memorable, interesting. The most amazing thing is that a lot of people don't know about me is growing up, I was very shy, so shy, you know. Um, and I had to, my parents had to make sure that they put me in a different debate groups and boarding school to actually, go out there and get my confidence. And that really helped me to be very confident growing up. And I ended up from a childhood, primary school, secondary school, um, becoming the prefect in my class and the dormitory host or prefect. So I started leadership at a very young age, and I think that really helped me to be who I am today. So I had my siblings that I grew up with, and we all grew up in a Christian home. And education was very, very important to my parents because they were teachers, and they made sure that we had good education.
Mm-hmm.
So, you
Oh,
know, that's,
so your parents were teachers. I didn't know that.
yeah, my dad was a principal, my mom was
Okay.
a teacher until
Mm-hmm.
they retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your dad or your parents they put you into leadership positions. Was there something that they saw that was a problem per se?
Well, it wasn't much of a problem. It
Mm-hmm.
was just my dad is he's a great mentor,
Mm-hmm.
and he's someone who believed that not only because we were his children, but he believed that we have to stand out. You have to be confident. My dad is a very confident person, and I was very shy, and I think he wanted us to be exposed to the world, like really get not just going to school and learning the subjects,
Mm-hmm.
but learning life. outside of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those debate groups, my dad plays tennis. He took me and my sister to his tennis tournaments from a young age. I mean, they did their best to make sure that we had the best foundation, I would
Okay.
say. And I think those things, as little as they were, really helped groom us to who we are today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I hear you talk about you and your sister. Is it just two of you?
Both, both of us, but I was the shy one.
Okay. So you only two, you and your sister.
No, I have four sisters.
Okay.
But
That's
at
good.
that time, it was me, and then I have the little siblings later.
I see. So where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Imo State in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
We started in a city called Obala.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to Nso in Ehimembano when teachers were relocated to their home states. So my parents had to move back to our home state,
Really? Was that
to the
that
local
was a
government.
that was a
That was
policy?
it. It was the government policy then. Teachers had to relocate to their home local government.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I grew up there and ended up going to college in Owerri, which is the capital of Imo State.
Mm-hmm.
So
So your father being a principal and your mother being a teacher, how was the atmosphere in the home? The educational, you know, because what I want to think is that I'm thinking about the children whose parents weren't teachers or principals. You know, how could you compare to some other children who did not have parents who were educated?
well, my parents made it very clear. It was very clear as children of teachers, you have to be the example. We have to, be the ones leading in front. You know, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
But I think they gave us good foundation to really understand that in life, no matter what you do, you're gonna need education. And I can tell you a story. One time I took an exam, and everybody, it was a tough exam, and I think I had some A's, and then I had a C, and then I had one D, just one D. And I came home, I was so proud of myself. And I came home to my dad, and he looked at it and he just threw it out. He was like, you had a D. You were not supposed to have a D in any subject. You were not supposed. I said, but I had all these. He said, yeah, but you had a D, so you're going to repeat the class.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
for the D. When we took WIAC, and I could not believe it. Other children that went home, they had worse result than me, and their parents were jubilating. But my dad set the standard so high that I think today, when it comes to education, for me, I set the standard high for myself. So, because that was the foundation.
Hmm. So did you end up repeating the class?
I did.
How did that affect you?
I think at the end I really realized why he really wanted me to excel. I was upset, but I had no choice. You don't talk back at your parents. They make the decision, and there's no debate. So yeah, I did, and by the time I came out of that class, I think I was so much better. So
That's good.
yeah,
So-
it was tough life.
So going forward, you went to college, you went to university in Nigeria?
Yes,
Okay.
I
And
went to-
what did you do?
I went to university in Imo State University, and I studied banking and finance.
So is that what you wanted to do when you
No.
grew up?
No,
Okay. Why did you study banking and finance?
well, I always wanted to be a lawyer, and I think now as a parent, I know my dad, meant well, but he wanted me to be a nurse, to go to a nursing school. I wanted to be a lawyer so bad. And I went, he registered me for a nursing entrance exam. And I went there and I purposely chose to fail the exam because I didn't want to go to nursing school. But my dad was like, "That's what I see in you." I'm like, "No, I want to be a lawyer." And I think that kind of brought a little bit of, I wouldn't call it a confusion, So I didn't, by the time I came back to take my JAM, which is a university entrance exam, they had filled the number of students for the law class. So I had to, register and go into banking and finance because that was the opening they had in school. But I'm not a banking and finance person. But the funny thing is, I ended up in life being a nurse.
They say what a parent can see sitting down, a child cannot see standing up, right?
And every day, I don't regret, but I tell my kids this every day. I'm like, I wish I had listened to my dad. If I had listened to my dad when he saw me, a nurse in me, I don't know where I would have been today, but I'm blessed to be where I am today. But I tell my children that story, like, I'm not telling you what to be in life, but I can see more than you can see, and I should have listened to my dad. Yeah.
Okay, so you transitioned from, obviously, from Nigeria to America. Just tell me a story.
Well, so when I came here, I I went into finance. I did some few courses and I started working for, then I think it's called ProMedica. It's a insurance finance company.
Okay.
And boy, did I hate it. I did not like it. I'm like, what is this? And so I had to really pull back and really ask myself, what is my passion? What did I want to do? I actually, became a Mary Kay beauty consultant, which I love. I love beauty. I love fashion, makeup, things like that. And I did that and I really loved it, for the Mary Kay, even though most of the products I used it on myself. But I learned so much from, the conferences, being around professional women. I think that kind of grew me. But then I started seeing that the shyness still there. And, it's like I felt like I couldn't fit in. And I didn't know why I couldn't fit in, So I decided to enroll in a modeling school. So a lot of people didn't know I went to a modeling school.
Wow.
I went to a modeling school in Southfield. And not really because I wanted to be a model. I was looking for an avenue, something to empower myself. Because I know the confidence is in here. It just wasn't coming out. So I needed to better myself. So I joined the modeling school and I'm so glad I did. Because by the time I finished the modeling school, it's like I can stand in front of anybody. I can speak in front of anybody without fear or anxiety. So, and it shaped me in different ways. I did a little bit of modeling and it wasn't for me. The lifestyle wasn't, it wasn't people have to love to do that, but the main reason why I went there was to educate and empower myself. And from there, I met a friend who told me, "Have you heard about nursing?" I said, "Yeah, I know nursing." She was like, "No, to be a CNA, certified nursing assistant." I'm like, "What is that?" She said, "Well, I'm doing it. My friends are doing it. I can introduce you to a school where you can register and do it." So I followed her. We went to this school. I registered, and the first day of class, I attended the class, then I walked in, and there was a young man sitting in class. And I walked in and we made an eye contact. And I'm like, oh God, I'm here to study. What is this eye contact for? And, after class, the next day, this young man kept passing me notes. I'm like, we are in class. Stop doing that. And, to cut the long story short, that young man ended up being my husband today.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow. CNA.
CNA.
CNA class. That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
I can see, I look at around your house and beautiful pictures of, did you catch this? Did you catch that? The painting? You catch some of it? And it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
That in itself can tell a story.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you are now, you told me you're now a nurse. So you went from CNA to now you are.
Yes, I registered and we finished the CNA school. We did our clinicals, and I could remember vividly the first picture I took together with my husband now. Then we had lab coats, we had stethoscopes. We didn't even know what
they were.
What they were, but we were so proud of ourselves to be a CNA. And when I started working, we actually worked in the same facility, and I really loved it. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is just a passion. And I told him, I said, I think I want to go further. I don't want to just be here. So I got information and I registered to an LPN school in Ohio, and I did the LPN program, and graduated. Started working as a nurse, as a licensed practical nurse, for some years, and I decided to go back to school while raising family. Now we're married, we're raising family, having children, and I decided to go back to school and become a registered nurse. I had my associate in nursing, and that kind of opened doors to so many things that I wanted to do. I went into management, and then I got a job in a hospital. That was my first hospital job. And I remember the first time I got to the floor, it was like everybody on the unit had bachelor's degrees. I mean, bachelor's degree was like no deal, no big deal. And I was so proud of my associate, And I'm like, wow, this is a different world. You have to step out of your comfort zone to really know there's so much to life out there than you're used to. And that really inspired me. I saw very young people, and it inspired me. I decided to enroll back and go in for my bachelor's. And when I finished the bachelor's, I realized,
everybody else,
everybody else has a master's degree. But it wasn't just that. It was, and now I'm very curious and inquisitive, and I'm very compassionate and really love this nursing, and I want to do more. I really want to focus on going into nursing leadership and advocating. I'm a big advocate for patients and patient rights and staff, and I feel like in nursing there is just very little voice for nurses. And I feel like if I am in a position where I can be a great voice for the patients and also for my fellow nurses, I think that's where I want to be. Like it's a journey, to me, it's not a, there's no destination. It's just a journey. So I have to keep going until the day you arrive, which is the day you start breathing. So I decided to go back and get my master's in nursing. I specialized in nursing administration, and it opened up a whole world of opportunities for me, and I love it. I would not give it up for anything. I just love being a nurse.
So the way you narrate it, it's just like it was smooth sailing from Nigeria to America to CNA to master's degree. It seems like it was all smooth sailing. Is that what it was? Were there any obstacles that you faced? And if so,
Oh,
how did you?
oh yeah. It wasn't. Nobody said life was gonna be easy.
No, I'm saying.
It wasn't a smooth sailing.
Okay.
It sounded like it was such a smooth sailing, but throughout my journey that I just explained, there were thorns, along the way. Relationship challenges, being here and you feel lost, you know, and at one time I was really lost. I didn't know, which way to go. But all I had was just God. I had to pray, and and pray for divine helpers, and God raised one. Along the way of my challenges, I met my husband, and he believed in me at the time when I didn't believe in myself, and you know, he kind of helped me recover myself, identify myself back, and say, this is what is in you, and you have to let people see this person, this gift, this talent that is in you. And I also discovered in this part of this whole journey, I discovered the ministry that we worship today, and the pastor that mentors us today. And I think that really was the big part of my transformation. It was that ministry. It helped me. The first time I went into the church, the pastor saw me. I've never, I think that was the second time I met him. And he looked at me and he said, "You're going to be the administrator of this church." And I said, "No, I can't even speak in front of people." He said, "Don't worry, you are." And it's been 12, 13 years. And I've been serving, you know, going from glory to glory. It has not been easy. Raising a family, going to school was not easy. But knowing that there is a prize at the finish line, if you can get to the finish line, there is a prize waiting for you. So that was my focus, was to keep my eyes on the prize and just keep going, not looking back. Because when we look back at our past, is a distraction to moving forward. So I made up my mind, I'm not going to look back. I will only learn from my past and then focus on who God wants me to be and just go with it. So I think just totally giving my life to Christ and starting to have an understanding of who I am and who God made me, and what God want to use me to do was a big part of my transformation. So it wasn't easy, but all I knew is with him all things are possible, and I'm just gonna keep going, and he's gonna back me up, and he did. And along the way, he sent me divine helpers. He sent me, whenever I feel stuck, he's right there. So
So I heard you say, knowing yourself, got to know yourself. There are a lot of people out there who who have issues, problems with knowing themselves. Is there anything that you could say to those people who may not know themselves to help them to know themselves?
I think the what really helped me, and the first thing to discover yourself is to actually get to know who made you. There's a difference between knowing someone personally from an experience you've had with the person, and knowing someone from what you heard about the person. To discover yourself, you have to know who you are and know who made you from a very personal relationship, which is knowing God, having that personal relationship with Him. And then the next step would be to understand why God created you, loving yourself. Because a lot of issues people have, I think, in the world we live today is a lot of people just, to them, they were born to impress everybody else. They were born to live according to the world. But we forget that we were born for a purpose. And that purpose has to be only to the glory of God. So having that relationship with God, and knowing Him intimately, personally, opens your eyes and your minds to really begin to hear Him and understand who you are and who He wants you to be. So, and I think when I didn't have that kind of relationship with God, I was lost. I didn't really know who I was. You get confused about who you are, what you want to do. You don't have that self-love for yourself. But when I understood who God is and why He created me, there was this inner joy that helps me discover me. Love myself the way I am. Love myself, even when you make mistakes, you have someone, a father you can go back to, not the world, you know. And to be in control of your own joy helps you discover you, not leaving your joy in the hands of people or things or material things or money, but just focusing on God. And that is the only thing I think that helps you discover yourself. And once you get to that place where you can just it's you and God alone. I think it's a different whole world that you begin to see things differently. you know and self-love, and just love who you are. you know if you have a passion for something, go for it. You might fail, you might not. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to be skilled, you don't need to, just go for it. You fail, well, that's an experience. You rise up and you keep going. But a lot of people, we live in this world where we have to impress the world. You have to look in a certain way to be accepted. You have to speak in a certain way to be accepted. You have to do a certain job to be accepted. You have to have some titles before your name to be accepted. It's not supposed to be so. You just love you for who you are and let God work on you. Areas that you need improvement. You ask God for the grace and knowledge and wisdom, and you work on it, and you keep going. That's how I do it.
So you talk about God. Your God is that, and I know talking about God and religion could be, it's a broad subject. And so when you talk about your God, I don't know, is that something that you could actually describe to somebody else to understand? What about my thinking, my idea, what I'm asking is somebody who could be going through, of some obstacles, who may not know that there's God, or may not be able to know how to reach that God the way you did. How would you describe it to that person? to say, okay, this is what I did, this is who I talked to, and this is how I talked to help them come to that decision making.
Well, I mean, I understand a lot of everybody have their faith and things that they believe in.
Okay.
I'm speaking of my faith and what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone who does not know God, if I had the opportunity to listen to them or to speak with them, I think it's just letting them know it's not forcing God on them, but just letting them know this God that we serve, He loves you. There's no judgment. He loves you, and I don't know what other way that in that moment where you feel darkness, I don't know which other way that you can find light except God. So I think it's just meeting people where they are and, you know, ministering to them, even if it's just listening to them. Because sometimes some people just want to be heard. We don't need to give advice. We don't need to do, you just be present and listen to them. And once someone gains your trust and, you know, then you can start building that relationship little by little and, you know, help them understand who God is and just understand, as simple as it is, God loves you. He loves you. He loves me. No matter who we are, how we are, blue, black, green, yellow, whatever it is, whatever you've been through your life, He loves you. And all you had to do is just know Him. You know, so I think because sometimes we try to reach or you try to minister to people and you lose them because they don't believe in what you believe in. And
So-
I totally respect that.
Yeah. So is it believing in something or somebody, God or whatever they call it, whoever is seeking calls it, is it believing in a particular thing or something, just something? Is it the act of believing that makes it so? Or is it a particular, God, person that you believe in to make it happen?
Faith, you know, believing is faith. Faith in God has a lot to do. You have to believe.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to start preaching
Yeah.
the Bible, but you have to believe. You have to believe in God that He is life, He is the way, the truth, and the life. And you have to believe He is the author and the finisher of your faith. So when you have to, for me to have a relationship with you, I have to believe in you. I have to trust you. I have to know you. So in order for us, when we find ourselves in a place of darkness, in a place that you don't even know where to begin, and you're fortunate to have someone who can lead you to the light. Because not everybody, like you said, knows God. Some people don't believe in the God that I believe in, you know. But at that moment, you can pray for them, for them to have that encounter with God or with the Holy Spirit, you know, to be able to meet them at the point of where they are. And then, you know, that is a first step.
Okay.
But you have to believe.
Okay. That's fair enough. So now, you didn't want to be a nurse because Daddy said it. Now you're a nurse. So, what next?
Well, you know, like I said, it's a journey for me.
Let me clarify that. What impact do you want to have? Now you've got your master's degree. Are you managing education? Is there a next step? And if not, what other impact do you want to have?
I'm glad you said education because that is my next journey. I have discovered throughout my career that I so much love to impact knowledge on others. It brings me so much joy when I can teach new graduate nurse or a nursing student or teach a patient about the disease process. And it's something that I've always known that, but the joy is just so much, is so significant that I'm looking into that um, in my next step, you know. And another thing is also I have really taken it as it's like a ministry, really encouraging young ladies, young men who have desire, who have compassion for others, who really want to pursue the field of nursing to help them, you know, get to where they need to start and, mentor them. A few of them I've mentored and they have graduated as nurses today. And even when I work, I've had opportunities where I needed to give a disciplinary action to some employees, and they come into my office, and we end up talking about school and get information, and I follow up with them. Did you go register? Did you do this? What do you need me to help you with? And a few of them, actually went back to school, to become a nurse. So I think it's not just for me, you know, it's not just getting all these degrees for me, but I think it's just using what God has blessed you to make an impact in the life of others. So, you know, I enjoy it. Some people call me and they're like, I have a question about this, and I'm so happy to help because someone gave me that information, someone helped me, someone guided me, and I think it's just a blessing for me to be able to help somebody else get to that point. Yeah.
Okay.
So education is very important to me, especially nursing education. That is my next step.
So when you say next step, that is
Specializing.
you're specializing in education. Okay.
I wanna. Yeah. I love to teach.
I don't know. I'm blanking out. I'm blanking out what kind of questions to ask you to round up. But what would you tell anybody out there who's listening to you, who may be down on their luck, or what would you tell them to encourage them? Maybe not only in nursing, but life in general, because I'm sure you've had your ups and downs in life.
Well, what I would tell anybody, no matter where you find yourself, is don't give up. That's the number one step. You got to believe in yourself. Don't give up. You just have to follow your dream. Um, Along the line, it's going to get hurt. It's going to get really difficult. And you will feel like you just want to let go. I'm done. This is it. I can't do it anymore. But just know that when you are feeling that way, when it gets tougher, that's when you're getting to the finish line. It's like a runner. I run, and when you're running, sometimes your muscles start to ache, and they start speaking to you. You need to stop. I can't do this anymore. And if you stop, you don't get the benefit of running. But you have to keep going. You have to ignore that pain. You have to ignore, whatever is going on around you. Because for me, I try not to focus on the things around me happening, the situations around me. And I try to keep my mind on the goal. What is my goal? What am I trying to achieve? You know, and then I surround myself with people who will empower me, people who positive people, people who are there to lift you up, encourage you. You know, I have a few people. My husband is my number one encourager. Um, and then, you know, ask questions. You know, a lot of times we don't know things and we just die in silence. Reach out to someone who is doing what you would love to do, or someone who has been through what you're going through, you know, and let them encourage you. And another thing, you know, I do, this is me personally, I pray, just because I need it. You know, it helps me get through the day. And just keep going. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. If you don't believe in the person you see in the mirror, nobody will believe in you. You have to look in the mirror and tell that person, you know, I can do this. If anybody else, because that's what I do. Like, if anybody else can do this, I'm doing it.
Okay.
And even if I fail, that's okay. I'll try again. Failure is not a bad thing. You know, it actually is part of experience we have in life.
Okay.
So just keep pushing.
So let me ask one. It just came to my mind. Part of doing this is hoping that it would help somebody, right? That somebody watching would learn something. Especially and hopefully people back at home. Now, what would you tell somebody at home? Because I can say it's obvious that not all of you who were in your class or your village or whatever are here in America. So there's still some who left who are left back behind. What would you tell some of those people to help encourage them?
Well, is number one, you know, wherever you are, no matter the location, believing in yourself is the first thing, you know, and not giving up. It happen, you know, even people here in America, it will be funny for people back home to hear there are people here in America that are struggling more than people who are back home. So whatever you find yourself doing, be good at it, you know. While you're looking for other avenues to make life better, just be good at what you have, and work with what you have in your hand. Trust in what the process. Believe in yourself. Don't give up, and, you know, reach out. There's something called networking here in America. If you're looking for a job, you reach out to people who are already in the field of what you're trying to do, and, you know, they can help guide you. They can give you referrals. There's something called that's networking. You know, home, you can reach out to people who are doing, maybe you're studying engineering in school back home. You can reach out to an engineer here in America to better your skills, to talk to them about, you know, what is the latest technology, you know. So no matter what you're doing, you know, just focus on it. Don't give up. Be good at it. Reach out, speak to people, ask questions, you know, and don't give up. You know, I think that's the most thing that is killing us today is we people are just tired. You know, people are just, it's just too much going on, and people are just to that place where they just want to give up. You know, so I encourage you to just keep pushing. Don't give up, and if you can get to that finish line, you know, there's a prize waiting right there.
Well, folks, you heard. We hope that something that she said, you know, will prick your interest and be encouraging to you. And we want to thank you again for letting us into your home.
Thank you for
You're very
coming.
welcome. You're welcome. And I would like to encourage you who are watching. Thank you for watching, first of all. And please subscribe, like, share, and above all, leave a comment. And until next time, thank you all for watching.